that I watched growing up in the early 2000s and the 2010s. If these guys have a hangnail, they're not going to play. It just is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and be the guy of, oh, they should have played this and that. In my mind, in a must-win game, yeah, I probably think they should have played. But at the same time, I'm not a professional athlete. So I'm not going to sit here and be the guy today, oh, shame on them for not playing. Am I upset? Hell yeah, I'm upset. I'm angry. I'm angry those guys didn't play. But if they weren't good enough to go, if they didn't think they're good enough to go, who the hell am I to say that they should have played? But the guys I grew up watching, the Kobes, the LeBrons, the Duncans, their shoulder would have had to been separated in a cast not to play. With that said, Donovan Mitchell had a great game. Donovan Mitchell did everything he could. And I think we found out, Colin, Donovan Mitchell has some kind of injury as well. Because he played 37 minutes and he couldn't even walk. Now, they said on the broadcast, and I tend to agree, that they were dog ears because he was getting pummeled every time he was going to him. He couldn't shoot. Colin, if 2 of his threes go in, this isn't a game. So, poor guy couldn't shoot. But he did everything in his power for the Cavs to win, and it wasn't enough. You can't rely on Ty Jerome to start. By the way,
he was awful in the game. Awful in the game.
1 for 14 was even.
He was awful in the game.
Terrible offensively, even worse defensively. Those guards for Indiana did absolutely anything they wanted late in that game. And you mentioned it in the Bucks series. That team don't go away, bro. Pacers don't go away. And you saw that in the fourth quarter when the Cavs started 0 for 6 and had 4 turnovers within the first 3.5, 4 minutes of the quarter. Fair play to Rick Carlisle. And how about Halliburton? What kind of crow do I have to eat? My God, is that kid good. I'd trade Mobley and Garland for him tomorrow. I would trade Mobley and Garland for that kid tomorrow. He hurt his wrist. Kyle, did he come out of the game? Did Tyrese Halliburton probably sprained his wrist in the game? Did he come out of the game? Oh, no. He kicked your ass late in the game and hit the game-winning shot. One of the worst losses I've ever seen, Kyle. Just another chapter of misery for that city. And at this point at 0-2, you're cooked. I don't want to come back. Come back and win this series. I had to listen to garbage in Cleveland this morning.
It's one thing being down 2-0 going back to your home court. This is not that.
People actually think they're going to win this in 7? Did you see how that Indiana team played? Is Donovan Mitchell even going to be available? Are the 3 Stooges going to get out of their street clothes and suit up? Win this series. You'll be lucky not to get swept. Thank you, Colin.
I completely agree with you. If on the guys not playing, Hunter with the thumb injury and Garland with the toe injury, you're down 1-0 in your building. And listen, for lack of a better term, Cleveland should have won this game. Indiana had no business by any stretch winning this game. None. Cleveland outplayed them. It was Mitchell, heroics.
He was unbelievable.
They just didn't go away. They didn't die. You got to kill them 1,000 times to get rid of them. And you needed 48 points out of Donovan Mitchell and a whole bunch of heroics. And then at the end of the game, when Indiana comes knocking and all of a sudden crucial possession here, crucial possession there, chanting overrated at Tyrese Halliburton when he's at the free throw line, you even had Donovan Mitchell telling the crowd to keep it down. Keep it down. Don't do that. Because there's something to that. The guy is unbelievable in a close situation. He has been doing it time and time again, closing games. And I got to give Indiana all the credit in the world. They had no business winning that game. They stole it. Now up 2-0. Cavaliers better get healthy fast. They better get healthy fast and have their best game of the season in Game 3. Because it's a little embarrassing. Indiana's good. Indiana's better than the record shows, and they're better than everybody gives them credit for. But if you're Cleveland there, I know you were banged up, but they got playing on Friday is their next ones. They got 2 days rest going back to Indiana. That needs to be the best game of the season. That needs to be the best game of the season. And Indiana's going to play hard because they want to close them out. They don't even want to give you a smidge of any sort of, what's the word? Life. They don't want to give you a breath of life. They're going to play really hard that game.
Up 7, Kyle, 40 seconds. You must find a way to win the game. Colin, to let everybody in on something, for those of you who don't listen to Colin and I every day, Colin and I had a youth basketball team. We loved coaching. We had a great time. At the end of that game, it was reminiscent of Colin and I's youth basketball team when someone would slap a press on us. I have never seen incompetence at inbounding a ball like I did last night by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Once it got inbounded as well, there was one ball handler on the court all last night. I think Rick Carlisle in Indiana are a little ticked off that they didn't start pressing earlier because Merrill can't dribble and Strus can't dribble. Once they shut down Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt, there were no other ball handlers, and they went on, an 8-0 run, 9-0 run to win the game with the Halliburton 3. I've never seen incompetence like that out of an inbound play. Everything needed to happen the way it did in order for Indiana to win the game, and you have to give them I got to give them their flowers, Colin. I do. And I don't see a world where this isn't 3-1. All right, how about this? I'll give the Cavs winning a game in Indiana. Fine. I don't see a world where they win 2 straight in Indiana, whose home crowd is going to be all pumped up. You said that, that's been a team that's been starving for something recently. Those fans are going to be ready to rock, man.
Well, they want to close them out. They don't want to close them out.
They're going to be ready to rock. So let's get winning 2 straight out. They're not winning 2 straight. And the injury thing is probably the most important part. Take home court aside. Take winning 2 games in Cleveland aside. Garland, Mobley, and Hunter being in street clothes. And Garland, Colin, doing a full practice. He went through a full practice and didn't play.
Yeah, you got to play.
You got to play. And we do have, I want to play this sound from Stephen A. Smith because I mentioned my gripes with Garland. I have gripes with all 3 of them that didn't play regardless. Let's take a listen to Stephen A. Smith talk about Darius Garland not playing in this game.
Darius Garland, listen, a toe injury is significant, could be very painful. I understand that. As far as I'm concerned, you got to be damn near crippled if you can't play. You got to be damn near crippled if you can't play. You got to find a way to get out there. Because last night, Nembhard and Halliburton combined for 45 points, like 19 assists, and 1 turnover. They're getting guard play in Indiana. Donovan Mitchell needs help, period. Because whether it's Ty Jerome, whether it's Strus or somebody else, I mean, listen, they're not point guards, okay? He needs some help in that backcourt. Now, you missed 4 straight games, Darius Garland. I mean, damn, you got all off season to heal. Somehow, some way, I mean, you're on the brink of elimination. I mean, you got to get out there. You got to find a way. Limp your ass out there no matter which way you got to do it. I don't give a damn, all right? Find a way. Find a way. Pad the toe, wear an extra size shoe. Do something. But you got to get out there. You got to get out there.
Kyle, I know this isn't Kevin McHale playing on a broken foot anymore. And I'm sure Kevin McHale, at this point, if he'd had to do it again, he probably wouldn't do it. It's not the 90s. It's not the basketball I grew up with in the 2000s. But, man, have some pride, dude. In a must-win game. In a must-win game, you're not going to suit up. Come on, man. Meet me halfway here. And he's right. Those guards did anything they wanted. Even when it was 18 points, you never felt comfortable.
They don't need this. He scored 11 of his 19 points in the fourth quarter, Halliburton. He doesn't need, and they didn't play well offensively for the most part of the game. They were getting defensive adjustments to start the game. Mike texted me about it. Kenny Atkinson did a great job, and they were trying to level every run, every chance that the Pacers got. Stop the game. Try to kill a run. Try to stop the bleed. And they still rumbled back into the game in that second half.
Yeah, and you got big game from Strus. You got role player Merrill a couple of threes and an over 40-point performance for Donovan Mitchell.
Points.
That's a game you got to win, man. You're up 7 with 40 seconds to go. Colin, that's Reggie Miller-esque. This Halliburton is reminiscent of the great Reggie Miller. That is Reggie getting offensive rebounds. Can I complain about something else, too? How the hell was it that a lane violation?
They don't call that in the NBA.
My God, they're just allowed to do that?
They don't call that in the NBA.
Oh, my God.
They don't call that in the NBA.
I was screaming at the team. And listen, I didn't want to make excuses for a terrible loss like that. I do have to say, I thought that was a bit Bush League. But if they don't call it, they don't call it. A lot of people were hitting me up about that. I didn't have an answer for them.
They wouldn't call that. They wouldn't call that at the beginning of the game. They're not going to call it at the end of the game.
Jared Allen's got to get a rebound there late in the game. You're 7 foot. Brother, you're 7 foot. I'm going to need you to... Can you jump off the ground and try to get the rebound? Can someone block the shooter out? We were blocking the shooter out at the JCC. This is the NBA. Box him out.
Funny part is Indiana had 18 turnovers.